Hi everybody, these are directions for how to set up your workspace, but most importantly save your projects in the correct manner. If you're not saving your projects in the correct way or in the correct place, you're going to start having a lot of headaches, and doing it correctly is very simple. First of all, when you log in now, you'll find your student folder is right on your dock, which is really nice. And the first thing I'd like you to do when you sign in is make a folder and entitle it SketchUp, so that you have your own folder in your student folder file that is just for this class. So that's the first thing I'd like you to do. Now, when we start using SketchUp, there's a couple little weird idiosyncrasies. And I'm going to start by making just a very simple drawing of a circle. And I'm going to go ahead and say save. You always want to use save as, not save. And so I'll save it, and I'm going to just call this drawing my circle. And I'm going to want to save everything on the desktop. Don't save anything to documents. Save everything to the desktop. And I'm just going to go ahead and say save. Okay, so now that I've got that saved, I'll back out of this. You can see I've got the document right there. Now this is not where I want to keep this document. We're going to have to move it, which I'll show you how to do in just a moment. But before I do that, I want to show you another very peculiar thing about SketchUp, and you really want to avoid this. It'll just be headaches for you if you don't. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Let's say I've worked on my circle for a day and I've saved it, and now I'm coming in the second day to work on it, and I'm just going to make one change to my circle. And I'm going to just do that, and I'm going to go ahead and go File, Save. And I go, okay, I'm good. I exit out of this. It's kind of hard to see here, but now you can see I've got actually two different copies of my circle drawing, and one has this little kind of asterisk or line at the end of it, which tells you it's a copy of the original. And I've seen many times where students are working on one project and they start getting 4 and 5 copies of it, and they don't know which one is their most recent, and it's taken up a lot of space on their computer. There is an easy way to avoid this doubling of your project, which you really want to avoid. So I'm going to take this one out and I'm going to dump it in the garbage. I'm going to open up this one and I'm going to make just one more change to it. But this time I'm going to go to File and I'm going to use Save As, not Save. And when I do that, it's going to come up. There's my circle. It's on the desktop. I'll say Save It. And I get this message. And if you get this message, you know you're doing it correctly. This says circle already exists. Do you want to replace it? That is your happy little signal. You say, yes, I want to replace it. Really what you're doing is updating it with your most current work. So you say replace, and you go ahead and get out of SketchUp. And now notice we only have one copy of this. So always, whenever you're saving, always use the Save As option, never the Save option. It will just give you headaches if you don't follow that one simple rule. Now the other rule for saving stuff is we don't want to keep it here on our desktop. The reason we don't want to keep it here on our desktop is, one, after you're in class for a few weeks and you start getting a lot of drawings, it's going to start slowing down your machine to hold that file. The other reason is if you have to move machines for one reason or the other, which we periodically do, then all of a sudden you can't even get to your file because it's on just this local computer. So now what we want to do is come in here and open up our student folder and get our SketchUp file we made here. And you can see this student has a lot of files in there, and I'm just going to drag this file in there. Now, Apple is kind of an odd thing. It never transfers a file. It makes copies of files. So now I have a copy of this file here and here, and this is where I want to keep it, not here. So as soon as you successfully made a copy into your student folder, just come here and drag this into the trash. And now you've got it right where you want it. And I know that's like an extra step. It's kind of a pain to have to go to your desktop and then to your student folder, but I have not yet learned a way to save it directly into your student folder. If you can figure that out, that would be good. But especially, never ever use the save. You can see none of these in Braden's folder. None of these have that little asterisk or curly Q line by it, which means every one of these are saved correctly. So saving your work in the correct place and in the correct way is very, very important. Okay? And once you've read this, you're really ready to start playing with SketchUp.